Hi everyone, this is Aisha Sarvai, Head of Communications and Sustainability at Jazz. Very happy to be here today. This is a COVID special. We've talked to Asif Aziz previously, but I think right now it's very important that his department/division tells us about what work they're doing. So we have announced 1.2 billion COVID relief. A lot of that, in fact, more than half of that is zero-rated calls, access to healthcare, using communicative technologies. Give us a quick rundown of that.
First of all, to educate customers, education was based around the websites, how to get information, how to get things. So those were zero rated. Next was, if you're low on balance, we targeted specific communities of users based on our data science and understanding who would be the most deserving consumers to whom we could post some extra minutes.
Because we know their RPO, right?
And then the final thing we've done is we've made it easier for people to share. So we
share data.
So sharing balance and sharing things as well. So we focused on a three approach.
What's it looking like down at customer experience? Are they overwhelmed? Is there a service challenge?
Okay, so very good question. There is a service challenge because we're employing the social distancing rules in the business partners so that they don't have too many employees sitting next to each other. So
because of social distancing.
So that causes a headcount problem because they can't have too many people in the office.
Right.
But the calls are coming in non-stop. So that hasn't stopped. A lot of calls have switched to Jazz World, which is great news for me, and to the WhatsApp service. So we've seen the digital channels really grow.
When you say a lot, what are we looking at?
About we've
20,
seen
30?
20-25% shift.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
So then that 20-25% shift somehow caters for the 40% workload reduction that we've had.
So it's almost like the new kind. I mean, everybody says CSR. CSR is so outdated. Right now, you need to have plans within your business system that helps people. And come to think of it, communicative technologies like Jazz offers are essentially sustainable models of help.
We provide an essential service. We provide connectivity. Someone is unwell, they need to call somebody. Jazz is there. Someone wants to work from home, we facilitate that. Someone's child is on a school call from home, we facilitate that. So we're a facilitator of something bigger.
Across the industries.
Across the industry.
How are you using data to work on the next 3 months of COVID? Because COVID's not going anywhere until 2020 from what I hear.
So we've been using the behavioral data. So we've done a lot of data analytics and we've identified where customers have moved to. Okay. So they've moved out of larger cities into the rural areas. Okay, so that I know. Then what we've been doing is we've been matching them with their nearest retailer and their nearest franchise point. So they may be used to something somewhere here in Lahore, but now they can, wherever they are, they know where their nearest points are. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
The second thing is if they have actually moved to an area of weaker coverage, we're letting them know and how we can communicate with them. We're also communicating to them about new packages and bundles that we've launched as well.
What are you doing with regard to maybe the DigiPhone that we had launched? Because this is a good time to push that.
Absolutely agree, and that has been going really well. So despite a lot of markets closed down, what I am observing is demand for that DigiPhone is still high. I do have a current challenge from a logistic perspective, as you can imagine. We had a very, very successful launch of this product.
If you were to convince, I want to ask you for 3 messages. One, government, what are you going to tell them, this one magic bullet that you're going to perhaps even beg them for these 100,000 people who are unconnected? What are you going to tell the government?
I think we've got a broadband emergency in this country.
But they'll agree.
Okay.
They'll be like, हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक है.
Great. Then I need them to think about the subsidy levels that they put on devices or remove them. Make it cheaper. Make it cheaper for those guys to enter. I would stop the import of 2G phones and I would focus on 3G and 4G devices only. And if anything, I would focus on 4G devices only.
What would you tell customers who are like, what can digital do for me?
I have never met a customer who adopted any digital service that then turned around and said, nah, this is not for me.
It's like a good run.
Yeah.
Nobody feels bad afterwards.
Right, so I think it's about try.
And what are you going to tell employees?
Be more active on social media, be brand ambassadors for Jazz, and actually help connect the unconnected.
What's your biggest win during COVID and getting people to reduce the calls and the footfall?
When we repositioned the brand very early on to Jazz Cares, and I think that then spurred on everybody else to think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that was a big win.
Asif, thank you so much, not just for the 1.2 billion pledge and the work that you've done tirelessly, but keeping the organization motivated. Everybody's really excited to have leaders who are sort of leading from the front.
Thank you very much. डरना नहीं.
बचना है.
दुनिया को बता दो.